Hey everybody, and welcome to Comics from the Future. I'm Andy.
I'm Matt.
We're here with Infinity Flux Comics out of Chattanooga, Tennessee, and this is our big show where we show you some of the biggest and best books that you can pre-order by this weekend, and your pre-orders are due, as always, around Sunday at 6 o'clock, so you don't miss out on any of the comic goodness. So just head on over to infinityflux.net right now, where you can place those pre-orders for the stuff we're about to talk about, plus tons of more stuff. But we have a special news alert.
Yeah, so a little bit of housekeeping before we start this show. Our normal comic preview show on Monday, because of the Labor Day holiday, it skew wiffied the shipping a little
Yeah.
bit. So we actually don't have our books yet. They will be here by Wednesday, no worries. It's just the shipping, when we normally get them, the whole schedule was thrown off a little bit. So, with that said, our normal Monday show will now be next Tuesday. We'll still have the books. We're still going to talk about it because there's a bunch of cool ones coming out next week. It's just going to be one day late because of the Labor Day holiday.
But it will still be one day early.
That's right.
Because that's what we do. We do it before the books come out.
That's right.
And so you'll still be able to check out everything that's coming out before it actually comes out.
Yeah, we'll post the video right before the store opens on Wednesday. And when that way, hey, we were still early.
And it'll like transition seamlessly from us
right.
walking out there and unlocking the doors.
Yeah, right.
It'll be really meta.
But yeah, still early, but just one day early instead of two.
Yep. But let's get on with today's show. And I'm actually going to be starting off with our featured comics, because it's time for Batman The Long Halloween, The Last Halloween. Like you said, I don't know why it's not called Batman The Last Halloween. It's long and last. But this is going to be a big deal. So returning is Jeff Loeb to the Batman Long Halloween universe. Unfortunately, a few years ago, we lost Tim Sale, who was, the 50-50 part of this. But to round off this Long Halloween epic that's been going since 1996. They've brought on a whole host of different artists to kind of finish the story, but also pay tribute to Tim Sale's amazing work. This is going to be 10 issues long. And so our first issue is going to be by Jeff Loeb, and the art is by Eduardo Rizzo. So they got some really heavy-hitting names on this one. And not a whole lot is known about what the story of The Last Halloween is. All we know is that Gotham once again starts to fear Halloween, and a terrible event threatens to mess with Jim Gordon's life, and something puts Batman and Robin's teamwork to the test. So I feel like this is half like, yeah, we're reading this for the story, and half like this is such a legacy coming to a close from, Dark Victory,
Yeah.
Long Halloween, all the different things that have made up this great journey since 96 will be coming to a close here. But very excited about it. This is going to be awesome because we get the different artists. We talked to Richard Starkings, who is the letterer on this. He was talking about how awesome the art is going forward for this whole series, especially issue 3 is going to be one to look out for. But on top of having some great classic Tim Sale covers that they got some of his amazing art that he had already done and are making those the covers. We've got some guest artists doing the covers as well. So this is our A cover by Tim Sale. We have a B cover by Eduardo Rizzo, your interior artist, which is a very different style for his on this.
Yeah, I was going to say
usually
that
it's a little bit scratchier and everything. We have, of course, a Jim Lee variant. I think Jim Lee is doing a cover for each of these as well. And there is a foil Jim Lee variant.
Yeah, I think this is going to be great. Long Halloween is my favorite Batman story, and
it's the most like everything that makes Batman Batman.
Yeah.
Plus the rogues, everything that's kind of like, what's the Batman universe like? Just read Long Halloween. It's got it all in there.
Well, next is Moon Knight, Fist of Khonshu #1. So this is the next series for Moon Knight, and it's still written by Jed MacKay. The art is still by Alessandro Cappuccio, which has been your team since the beginning of Jed MacKay's run 30 plus issues ago. And yeah, we're getting, Mark Spector is back as of near the end of Blood Hunt. And now he's gonna, just a new series with him. We don't really know the story details yet, like what challenge is he going to face? We do know he has a cool new costume, which you can see right there. But yeah, just more Moon Knight by this team is always a good thing because this has been my favorite run of Moon Knight. The entire Jed MacKay run of Moon Knight has been my favorite that there's ever been, and we are just getting more of that. So here's our A cover right here. We have a Ken Lashley variant. We have a Lionel Francis Yu variant. There is a Sakura Silver Foil variant. That's going to look really nice. And then there's a Stephen Platt variant, which, Stephen Platt had a great little run of Moon Knight back in the 90s, and this is kind of taking me back to that a little bit.
It's interesting on this, some of his suit, he's got like his, like it's a more armored suit. He's still got the cloth cape, but it's a few years ago he had a suit that was kind of similar to this.
Yeah.
But he's still got the like eskrima sticks and everything. It's very cool. Very excited for this.
Yeah, I really like this. I mean, I'm a classic. I like the classic white, like you see right there. But if we can't have that, this new one I think is really cool.
I do like, as the series progresses in a character, that there's some shifts in the costume just to kind of keep things interesting. Spider-Man has always done that through long runs of it. Okay, next up, one of my most anticipated books. This is Star Wars Battle of Jakku, Insurgency Rising #1. So I believe this is one of, I can't remember if it's 4 miniseries of 3 issues or 3 miniseries of 4 issues.
Well, this says this is a 4-issue series.
4 issues. So I believe there's 3 separate miniseries that are all leading up to the Battle of Jakku. They all are Star Wars Battle of Jakku with another title in them. And this is starting it off. This is by Alex Seguera and Leonard Kirk. And this is going to bridge the gap somewhat between Return of the Jedi and Force Awakens. At least the final battle of the Empire was fought on Jakku. That's why there's all of the wrecked ships in Force Awakens that Rey scavenges from, the Star Destroyers, all of that. The final battle of the Empire as we know it was like they held out on Jakku as the Rebel Alliance finally kind of ended them there. And so this is going to be, what are the events that led up to that, as the new Republic that got started at the end of Return of the Jedi is kind of figuring out their way, reestablishing their hold in the galaxy, all the while there's this remnant of the Empire there. So there's going to be a lot of interesting things in this, because this does take place right after Return of the Jedi. Leia makes a startling discovery on Endor. Who are the Acolytes of the Beyond, which are characters we see much later who are serving the clone reincarnated Palpatine. So they're starting to seed some of that later stuff earlier. And a new villain with a connection to Vader emerges as well. So this is going to be really cool. And we're finally breaking out of the original trilogy storylines for comics. And this is, we know where it's going, but it's still a little bit more uncharted territory. So I'm very excited about that. So this is our A cover. We also have the we're still going with the Phantom Menace 25th anniversary cover.
We're almost done too. That's 21 to 25.
Yep. And I love this one. This is the Rod Rice cover with that melted Vader helmet. Maybe we see who removes the Vader helmet from the smoldering pyre, and eventually Kylo Ren gets it. I'm guessing we're going to start seeing the, this over here and this over here. What's the thread between the two?
Some of the finer details and that kind of thing. Yeah. All right. Yay! Creepshow is back. This is Creepshow Volume 3, #1. And just like all of the other Creepshow issues, this is going to contain 2 different anthology, one-and-done stories of just pure creepiness. There's one story written by Chip Zdarsky, and the art is by Kagan McLeod. It's a tale about a repressed housewife who decides to take matters into her own hands and rescue her daughter from a local cult. But this being Creepshow, I wouldn't be surprised if that does not have a happy ending.
Or she has her own cult.
Right, yeah, or the mom gets wrapped up in the cult or something. And then there's another story written and drawn by James Stokoe that introduces the chilling mystery of a severed human hand and the lengths that one writer will go to learn what this is. Where did this come from? All about it. So, yeah, just this is a great book. This is actually a book that I enjoy reading month to month, because every month you get 2 cool new, creepy stories that are just self-contained. You can read these issues in any order you want to. You can read it however you want. And this comes out right at the end of September, so right into spooky season.
Yeah, you'll have this series coming out during October.
During October. This is great. So I am so excited that this is back. So this is our A cover, and then there is a James Stokoe variant as well. And then if you haven't read any Creepshow before and you want to get caught up, this is the Creepshow Deluxe Edition hardcover, which is going to collect Volume 1, Issues 1 through 5, and Volume 2, Issues 1 through 5. So this is going to give you 10 awesome issues of Creepshow. And like I said, every issue contains 2 just self-contained stories. There's no like big long through line or anything. So you can actually pick this up and get completely caught up with Creepshow. And well, this comes out at the end of October. So I was going to say you can get this and get caught up and then get Volume 3.
You don't have to read them in
but you
any
don't have to
order.
read them in any order whatsoever. So if you pick up Volume 3, number 1, at the end of September, and you really like it, you want to read more, you can get this at the end of October and have
And
all
keep
of
it going.
And keep going, yeah, for sure. So this is our Chris Burnham cover for the hardcover, and then there is a direct market cover by Gil March, which I like that one because he's reading a bunch of comic books.
Yeah. So I just finished Volume 2 reading this, and this might be my favorite horror anthology book. And that's saying something because there's a lot of them. But I feel like this balances the creepy with some humor.
Yeah, a little bit.
But like kind of some twisted humor.
Yeah.
It's just it's such a wide variety of stories.
Yeah.
You know, tonally, monsters, zombie, like everything is covered in this.
And it is legit creepy and shot. There are so many stories that I read where I can't believe that they did that.
Yeah.
Like that is shocking. I cannot, so it's a great horror book.
Speaking of horror books, we've got the new DC's I Know What You Did Last Crisis one shot. So this is just in time. There's that new DC logo on there.
Oh yeah,
great to see.
Nice, love the old logo.
Welcome aboard, new DC logo. We love you.
Or welcome back, old DC logo.
Yeah, with a new
like gradient on it. Yeah.
But this is DC's kind of spooky season one shot. So this is going to have 8 chilling tales set across the multiverse of DC. Yeah, not really the multiverse. It's just stories that didn't happen in continuity.
Right. Yeah.
Of DC's crises rising again. So this is going to be 8 stories that kind of take place during different time periods and key crisis events in DC Comics. So we're going to have stuff from Blackest Night, we're going to have Millennium, 0 Hour, Infinite Crisis, and more. I got to preview some pages of this. There is a story by Dan DiDio, which I was very surprised. He used to be one of the editors-in-chiefs of DC. He comes back to write a story. And for longtime DC fans and people who kind of are in the know about stuff, it's kind of a weird wish fulfillment, nightmare fulfillment story involving Nightwing. So you'll have to check that one out. But there's also great stories. There's a great Black Canary story.
Oh,
I think
nice.
The Black Canary one is the one set during Blackest Night because there's a zombie version of the character in it. Just really cool and fun to revisit some key time frames in the history of DC.
Yeah, you texted me about the Dan DiDio story, and I replied saying, "Oh, of course that happened, but it's just fun. None of it's in continuity. It's just all fun stories."
So we've got this great Dan Hip A cover. I actually really like that this is the A cover.
Yeah, and I love that Nightwing is reading the cover. That's the cover of it.
So meta. We also have this is the Edgecur variant.
That could be a cover to anything. Right?
Yeah. So can this one. This is the Nicholas Scott variant.
Yeah.
But okay, this one is really funny. If you get this cover, then you read the story with Nightwing in it. How happy and everything that makes this cover is extra fun.
All right, next is Ghost Rider Robbie Reyes Marvel Special. So this is going to be a one-shot celebrating Latin Heritage Month. And this is just going to give us 3 brand new tales of Robbie Reyes, Ghost Rider, from different creative teams. But it also says, the solicitation says that the print debut of an all-new Ghost Rider. So I don't know who that might be. So this is our A cover, and if we'll roll ahead to the Sandoval cover, maybe that character. I don't know if anybody out there.
She was one of those new like sidekick characters from those variant covers.
So yeah, maybe because it did say the print debut. So
I bet that's yeah.
Because I know that I think they're bringing some of those
Yeah.
sidekick characters into. So maybe I thought that it meant maybe there has been a new Ghost Rider like in the Infinity
Yeah.
comics, and that this is the first time in a physical book. But maybe it's like, yeah, we're taking that character and putting her in a story.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what it is. But yeah, the first appearance or the debut of an all new Ghost Rider.
I wish I could remember what her name was, but she has skates and stuff.
Oh yeah, there's the skates right there.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess that's what it is. So the first time we're going to see her in a story, we have seen her on a cover before, but yeah, so that's going to be really cool. So yeah, so well, we already did the covers. Yeah, we had our A cover, and this is our standalone cover.
I like that. Just the colors in this one
Yeah.
are great. Okay, next up we have a new book from Image called Knights versus Samurai. And this is by Davis Melchian, and the art is by Fede Melee. And I didn't know when we did the show the other day, we did the shorter version of this. I had less information about this, so I didn't know in the solicitation it talks about monsters and stuff, if they were real or is this a more like realistic world or whatever. So in this, we've got a character named Charles Ward, known as the Dragon Butcher. He has achieved knighthood and now leads a legion of royal warriors. Yeah, he's not perfect. He's stricken with a lot of grief and a lot of self-doubt, but he leads a team to a mysterious island in the Far East to get vengeance against savage monsters who ambushed a group of English missionaries. But what they find there are less monsters and more highly skilled warriors. So in that, you could imagine they maybe mistook something for monsters.
That's what I was
whatever.
thinking.
But when I got to check out some preview pages of this, there are actual monsters in this.
Oh, okay.
One part has like a big like octopus sea monster with like multiple
Ooh.
eyes and stuff. So now I'm really, when he has the name the Dragon Butcher, I actually think he killed a dragon.
So maybe this may be like samurai mixed with like a medieval fantasy story with dragons.
There's a kind of historical fantasy that kind of mixes some of that together. And that's a genre I don't think we've really got a lot of in comics. So this could be really, really cool.
Because I thought the same thing. I thought, he thinks they're monsters, but it's actually samurai. But it's kind of like Batman, where people don't see Batman, so they think he's a monster, but it's really just a highly skilled guy that stays in the shadows. So I thought maybe it was that.
That is,
maybe it's both.
Yeah, maybe it's some of the case.
Yeah.
And also, I think it did talk about, like, on his crew are some giants. But I was just thinking they're like, those are some big guys. But no, they might actually be giants. So this is our A cover, which is really nice. And then there is a Todd McFarlane variant with dragons.
Okay.
So, and I believe, I'm not sure if this is going to be in color because it is called the black and white variant. I would love to see this in color. I'd like to see all of Todd McFarlane stuff in color as well. But you do get an idea there that there are dragons, and it must be something for Todd McFarlane to do a cover for.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so next up is the Lobo Cancellation Special, and this is going to be a one-shot as well. Oh, this doesn't have the DC logo. But this is written by Kyle Starks, and the art is by Kyle Hotz. And we don't really know what the story of this is going to be. The solicitation doesn't give us that information. What it does tell us is that this is the sleaziest, scummiest special to grace the DC universe. And we are told to get ready for the most skull-crunching, crotch-punting, excrement-filled comic of the year. That's a big promise.
Yeah.
But so I hope that when I open that up, I want to see... No, I don't want to...
That could go a lot of directions.
Yeah, but... so yeah, just a Lobo one-shot.
I want to feel like I need to take a shower after I read it.
I know, right? Well, this is cool, though, because after Lobo's appearance in Brainiac... House of Brainiac...
Yeah.
I was like, I would love a new Lobo series. This is only a one-shot, but maybe it could lead to more Lobo stories, especially with All In coming up in October. So yeah, this should be really fun. So that's our A cover, and then there's a Simon Bisley After Dark variant. Simon Bisley, he did a lot of cool Lobo stuff in the 90s.
Yeah, I sampled this book as well.
Mm-hmm.
We got an early preview of it, and it is like... it would be considered Black Label. It is hyper violent, but in the Lobo way that's kind of really funny and really over the top. So yeah, if you like that classic Lobo that was a little bit more edgy and
Uh-huh.
dark and violent and all that. That is what this Lobo book's going to be.
Nice.
Plus, I love the classic Lobo title on there.
Yeah.
It looks like a retro series. Okay, next up we have a new book called Violent Flowers. It's going to be a 4-issue miniseries from Image, and this is by Maria Levitt, who has done phenomenal things over there. Most recently did what was the book? The book about the cell phones and
the Crave.
Crave.
Yeah.
Crave. So if you read Crave, you kind of know what you're in for
Yeah.
with Maria Levitt's very mature style and subject matter, but very interesting, very artistic. So in this one, it's about an ancient vampire clan that reunites after centuries when one of their own, called the Sentinel, who was a vampire who watched over all the supernatural beings, I'm guessing kind of kept them online, is murdered. And the Sentinel's sister, younger sister, who is a pretty what did they say, erratic character, vows vengeance because of this. And she has, so in this one, the vampires, if they don't drink blood, if they stay away from that, they kind of look old and haggard and everything. And she has been living her life like that because she's stayed away from blood. But maybe to find her brother's killer, she'll have to reindulge and take on all the other forces.
She'll have to hit the gym, sort of, get in shape.
Hit the Bloody Mary.
Yeah.
So this is going to be great. 4-issue miniseries by Maria Levitt, and I got to see some sample pages, and it's what you expect. It's beautiful. So there is our A cover. We also have this is called the Roses variant. There is the Heart variant. These are all by Maria Levitt. There is an Orellana variant. It's not available yet, but there will be a Mirka and Dolfo variant.
I wish it were just that. That looks fun.
Yeah, and it also said art not final on the cover. There is a Luana Vecchio variant and a Hamlet Machine variant, which that's a very interesting name.
It's a machine that just cranks out copies of Hamlet.
Yeah.
All right, so this one sounds really cool. This is Night of the Slashers #1. We do have a preview copy of this too, but I didn't get the chance to look through it before this started. But this is written by Kevin Scott, and the art is by Paul Fry. This sounds so cool. Another one perfect for spooky season, and this comes out on October 2nd, so it's going to be right at the right time. So this is about one night per year. There's a small town called Hill Creek, and one night per year, the citizens there turn into bloodthirsty maniacs. Well, in this story, the night that this happens just happens to be the same night that a girl named Laura, she's on a school bus, and that bus breaks down. Reminds me of like Jeepers Creepers, Jeepers Creepers 2. And so her and her friends on the bus are stranded in this small town where everybody there is a bloodthirsty maniac. And it says there's terror at every turn. Will anyone survive the night? So I just think that sounds like exactly the kind of the book I want to read in October. Magma Comics is the publisher of this, and they've been putting out some really cool stuff. So yeah, I'm definitely excited for this. So this is our A cover, and then there is a Robert Hack variant,
which is really cool looking too. It's like a VHS case.
Yeah.
Okay, next up, this is nothing new, and it's not a #1, but it is something featured that we want to talk about, especially since this week the Superman versus Muhammad Ali treasury size book came out. There's a new one called the All New Collector's Edition 54 Facsimile Edition coming out. And this is, like all the other ones, going to have a regular cover, a foil, and a sketch cover. And this is reprinting the classic Superman versus Wonder Woman story that was originally published in 1968 by Jerry Conway and Jose Luis Garcia Lopez. One of the best Superman artists ever. And this is a story that is set in 1942 during World War and World War II, and they're going after the Nazis and everything, but something pits Superman against Wonder Woman. And Uncle Sam is there pointing his finger at them saying, "Don't fight, join the war."
Yeah. Buy war bonds.
Buy war bonds.
And it's going to be the big treasury side or the big magazine size.
I believe so, yeah. So very excited for this. I love all these, and I hope DC keeps cranking out the
Yeah.
facsimile editions of like these key books
Yeah.
that are maybe very expensive to get by themselves, but you get reprints of.
And the facsimiles are really good too because they're still on like the newspaper type paper. Like it's exactly the way that it should be, unless you get the foil cover. It's like, well, there wasn't foil back then, but I'm gonna get that anyway.
But yep, just the one cover to show here, but there is the foil and everything of that one. Next up, we got other number ones, starting with this one I'm really excited for. I didn't even know anything about this until researching. It's called Seance in Asylum number one. This is by Clay McLeod Chapman and Andrea Moody, who has done so many things now.
Yeah.
A huge name. This takes place in 1865 when a defrauded spiritual medium named Alicia Wilkinson is brought to a hospital asylum called Ashcroft at the behest of one of the doctors. It basically says, I'll give you a second chance to prove your abilities. I want you to perform a seance among the patients and draw out their mental maladies because they believed it was demon possession or spirit possession making them like this. And she performs a seance and it works. The patients respond and all of that. The problem is Alicia knows that she is a fake, a liar, and a con person. So why did this actually work? And what is going on in this place?
She's like, that was not supposed to happen.
Yeah, that's when you get really freaked out. But another spooky book for the season that I can't wait to read.
Yep.
So this is our A cover for that. And then we also have a Henderson variant.
All right, so this is the Manchurian. This is a one-shot, and this is part of the Horizon experiment. So what that is, this book is written by Pornsack Pishishote, and the art is by Terry Dodson. And this is the first book from the Horizon experiment, which is a series of 5 one-shot books that feature protagonists from marginalized backgrounds that are each set within a different popular genre. I think there's a horror one coming. This is like a super spy kind of thing, and it's inspired by pop culture icons. So this issue in particular is about I don't know, they just call him the Manchurian, but he is a Chinese James Bond type character who runs covert missions in America for the enemy. So I'm not really sure who he's employed by, but yeah, this is a one shot, and there's going to be 4 more one shots in this Horizon experiment under this Horizon experiment banner. And like I said, I think there's a horror one. One said there was one that's like a reverse Indiana Jones, I think. So more to come as those come out. But yeah, this is a
the idol sneaks in and steals an explorer.
That's right, yeah. or the idol, or Indiana Jones tries to put the idol back.
Oh yeah.
But he has to push the boulder first, you know,
and then push the boulder up a
yeah.
hill.
So this should be really cool to see what all comes out of
and I
this.
wonder, with them calling this experiment, maybe these one shots are seeing. Will any of these be like ongoing series or mini series?
That's what I was thinking it was going to be. Is like, you know, we're going to release one shots of all these, and if the reception's good, we'll do more. Yeah.
The art for this one, seeing the interior art, of course, it's Terry Dodson, but it's beautiful. Yeah, it's really, really good.
Yeah, so this should be really cool. So this is our A cover by Terry Dodson, and then there is a Tuolote connecting variant.
So I guess connecting with the.
I guess connecting with the other ones, which I'm interested to see how that works. If there's a horror book, like how is this going to connect with that?
From palm trees and stuff to just like monsters.
Right.
Okay, next up, once again, not a number 1, but this is Feral number 6, but it is beginning a new story arc and a one-shot story that, if you've been following Feral, is going to be really intriguing. This is going to be a POV story of Patch, who was one of the cats that got scratched and is now slowly turning feral.
So he literally has cat scratch fever.
Yes, which is not even a real thing. It's just when your skin turns pink after
There's a song about it, though.
Yeah, there is. But it says this is a frantic, frightening, panic-inducing standalone issue. So I imagine it's going to be pretty scary as a POV, seeing like the slow kind of turn into a feral.
It's going to be really sad too, though.
Yeah. But you know, just a reminder that if you're a Feral fan, it is coming back because this is an ongoing series, unlike Stray Dogs, which was a mini series. So coming back for this one, we've got our A cover here. And we have the Fleeks and Forrester movie homage variant.
All right, so this is the Jupiter's Legacy finale. So Jupiter's Legacy is coming back for, I guess, one last hurrah. This is written by Mark Miller, and the art is by Tommy Lee Edwards. And it's pretty light on story details. It just tells us that the superheroes of the Jupiter's Legacy books, they have been trapped and murdered on an alien world, and while they're gone, the enemies of Earth launch their own invasion since there's no one around to protect it. So that should be really cool. It's been a while since, we had the Netflix series that lasted for a season. There's been a couple other series of this, but it's been a while since we had another Jupiter's Legacy. So this should be really cool. So this is our A cover. There is a Quietly variant. There is a Tedesco cover. And then there is a Young variant. Oh, Scotty Young. Yeah, this is
that Young.
Yeah, that Young, that guy. He's done a couple covers.
So next up, this is a #1, but it's not technically new. This is Crow Dead Time #1. So apparently Sumerian now has the rights to the Crow, and they are re-releasing this classic Crow story for the first time since 1996 as single issues, which I didn't realize that the original artist of this was Alex Maleev back in the day.
Yeah.
Which is really, really cool. And Alex Maleev is coming back to do covers for it. So if you are a Crow fan, this will be cool to get a new Crow book, kind of new old Crow book, but when you go to your comic books shop, you'll be picking it up. And if you've never read this or you're a longtime fan, it'll be cool to get these new covers for it as well. And new variants. So we've got our A cover here. We also have a Braille variant and a Connolly variant.
All right, so this is Old Dog Operations. So this is a one-shot of it just containing several short stories featuring Declan Shalvey's character Old Dog, who is kind of like a grizzled super spy, I guess, if you will. Just a bunch of different creators doing a bunch of different stories. There wasn't really any information about what they might be, but just just a one shot full of short stories featuring this character. And yeah, so that's our A cover, and then we have a Tula Lotte variant. I like that one.
Yeah, this one's interesting too because I looked through it. I was under the impression that Old Dog, I never read it. I maybe read the first issue, was very like grounded spy, but this has some supernatural elements in it that I wasn't expecting.
Okay.
So maybe that's just other people's takes on it.
Yeah.
But it'll be cool to see. Okay, next up, this is a hardcover graphic novel, but it's it's a graphic novel, so it wasn't released as standalone issues by Kieran Gillen, and the art is by Stephanie Hans, who did this cover here. And this sounds really cool. So this says Lori wakes up to find that the streets are empty, everyone has gone, and she's forced to survive, hiding from fanatics and gangs and ruins. In the ruins of civilization. So it begins sounding very Walking Dead, as Rick woke up and everything. But it says, but then they arrive. And it appears that giants suddenly appear. And from what I've seen of this, they're very, almost like Marvel...
like Celestials?
Celestials type looking thing. But I'm very excited about this. Stephanie Hans, fantastic artist. Kieran Gillen, of course, long-time comics writer. So, of course, just the one cover for this because it is a hardcover graphic novel, but don't miss out on it because it's going to be really good.
Yeah, when I saw this, I thought it was maybe a new printing of I Kill Giants.
Yeah.
But, a lot of giants.
A lot of giants. We also just had Giant Detective, and it's the season of the giants. Next up, we got notable 2s and 3s, continuations of series that maybe have already started, maybe not.
Well, this is Venom War #3. This is a 5-issue main series, and there's a whole bunch of tie-ins as well. We don't get a lot of story details on this one, but it does say that the tide of the war turns here as one of the contenders, which is either Peter or Eddie or Dylan, but one of them is eliminated from this war. Don't know how, but I guess we'll find out in this. I've actually been enjoying. I really liked the first issue. I want to say the second issue comes out next week, so we'll be talking about that on Tuesday. And a couple of the tie-ins have been really cool. The Spider-Man one has been great. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this.
And we do know this is also leading up to a new Venom series, starting over at #1.
That's right.
And we don't even know who that Venom's going to be.
Well, yeah. So yeah, I don't think it's going to be either Eddie or Dylan. I think there's
Peter.
Yeah, it might be Luke Cage, or it might be
I'm up for whatever it is.
Yeah. So yeah, this is our A cover. We have a Chris Geruso variant, which I love that that's a take on. What was another one that was like that?
It was the previous. I think they're
Was
doing it
it
for all the issues of
okay?
this.
There's a Clayton Crane Venom Horse variant.
Man, they're all about that Venom
I know,
horse.
right?
Also, if you saw that dangling above you, horrifying.
Yeah, there's a Mark Bagley Team Dylan variant, and then there is a connecting Team Eddie variant, also by Mark Bagley. There's a Scotty Young variant, because of course there is.
Because they end up thumb wrestling at the end.
That's the way. That's the way to settle any good Venom war. And then there's a Will Sliney variant. And then I did not see this in my notes, so I do not have any notes on this. But there's also Venom War Spider-Man #3 of 4, and
You really liked the first issue of the.
I really did.
Yeah.
Like it was fantastic. Colin Kelly, Jackson Lansing writing it. They're some of my favorites. Greg Land on art. And this says that Peter Parker is now the King in Black. Everything would work out if a great guy like Peter held on to the symbiote, right? Right. So I don't really know
Or if
what they're
he's gonna
going
be
for
the
here.
one to be eliminated.
Well, it could be because this comes out on the same day as Venom War #3. So maybe this is going to tie. Maybe he's the one eliminated, and this tells us how that happens. I don't know. But yeah, so this is really cool. So this is our A cover, and then we have a Dyke Ruin cover with Jackpot and Peter with the chains.
Next up, we have Universal Monsters Frankenstein #2. I really like issue 1 of this. It's maybe my favorite of the issue 1s of these Universal Monsters books so far. I felt like it really captured the tone and kind of took the original story but gave us a new perspective on it with the son in the first one. Well, this one, the first one, focuses on the hands of Frankenstein's monster. This one is called The Brain of a Killer.
Okay.
So, as you can see,
I was gonna say, is it gonna be the brain?
looks
Yeah.
like we are getting the story of the brain as Fritz, Dr. Frankenstein's assistant, has a chance encounter with a police officer and a murderer, which we do know that was what happened, and that was the problem, is he meant to grab a good brain, and he ended up grabbing a bad brain.
Oops.
So I'm wondering what kind of take on that story we're going to get in this one, but this is going to be so good. So this is our A cover for that. And there's also a Mike Del Mundo variant, which is really cool.
This is Ultraman X, I guess you say X, Ultraman X Avengers #2 of 4. And the first one, I really thought it was a lot of fun. In this one, Captain Marvel and Ultraman team up against 2 rampaging kaiju, while Captain America leads a team on a mission into the heart of the USP, which I think is I can't remember what that stands for, but it has to do with Ultraman. But they might all be too late, or this may all be for nothing, as they receive those 3 dreaded words: Galactus is coming. And that's the whole crux behind that's the whole impetus of the whole story anyway.
Served.
That's right. Or that. Or, I love you. That can be dangerous. But yeah, so just more Ultraman Avengers fun. And it's funny because the Avengers are also fighting Xenomorphs right now too.
Yeah.
So what if we have Ultraman, Avengers, Aliens, Predator, Wolverine, Black Panther?
And then Galactus comes punching as well.
And he just like steps on all of them. So that's our A cover, and then we have a Francesco Mobley variant.
Next up, we have I Lie Popeye #2. #1 came out this week. It is so much fun. Hopefully, everyone picked this up and just got a real good thrill out of the over-the-top manga-style action this book has by Marcus Williams. And just continues the fun in issue #2. I don't know a whole lot about it. It just mentions, the Sea Hags coming back in a disguise. But there was kind of a Popeye cabal at the end of the last one of maybe some future villains we're going to be getting. So I really like #1. I love the Free Comic Book Day book, and is continuing here. So this is only a 5-issue miniseries, but I hope they continue it. So this is by your interior artist and writer Marcus Williams. We've got a Lullaby variant. We have a Yoon variant. And we have a Dwanus variant with a very 90s Bluto with very cable-like.
Yeah.
But it looks like he's got a spinach shooter, maybe?
That's great. He's got them all on his shoulder.
That's really cool.
Wonderful. All right, this is Absolute Power Origins #3. This is the final issue of this tie-in series to the Absolute Power storyline. And it just says that what secrets lie within the mind of the Brainiac Queen. We can see her on the cover there. Where they're at right now, in issue 2, she had just sort of Well, she already had a position of power within the government, but she had just sent off the very first Task Force X team. So it's kind of early days, I guess, for her in the government. But now this one sounds almost like present day, yeah. And it just says, well, Waller survived the seeds that she herself has sown. So I wonder if there's going to be something that comes back to bite her.
Yeah,
Maybe Brainiac Queen,
turns on
yeah,
her.
yeah, turns traitor. So we'll have to wait and see. But that's our A cover, and then we have a Ken Lashley variant also.
That one's really
I
cool.
like
That
one a lot.
classic Suicide Squad team. Okay, next up, what you've all been waiting for. This is Sesame Street number 2. Hopefully everyone picked up number 1. The fantastic Grover issue. He helped everybody out on Sesame Street. He figured out that Big Bird could help the count all the leaves on the tree. Well, in this one, we are getting Bert and Ernie are spotlighting this one, as Ernie is having trouble finding stuff to give away at the community swap meet. So I actually thought number 1 was really fun. A nice palate cleanser for all the dark and crazy comics that are going on, and always happy to promote comics for kids.
Yeah.
Whatever age. This is great for younger kids or a little bit older, or if you're just a big Sesame Street fan. So really cool. So this is our A cover. And there is, I believe this is also the connecting with the last one. This is the hunting variant. And there is a coloring page version of the A cover.
Cool. This is Standstill number 2. I really enjoyed the first issue of this. So in this one, Riker, who is the antagonist of the series, he travels to Pakistan and antagonizes the local killers there using his time-stopping device. Meanwhile, back in the States, Kate and Colin is the guy who actually created that, and he's really the only one who knows what is even going on with all these mystery crimes that keep popping up. Well, they're trying to track down clues in the hopes of find out who has been abusing the time-stopping device that he built. They don't know. They know that it's being used. They just don't know who has it yet. So that's what they're trying to figure out. So I really like the first one a lot. It was a normal size comic, but on the inside it's printed almost like it's a treasury size. But the artwork's great. Like, it's just really cool. And this is our only cover for it.
Next up, we have Spawn Kills Every Spawn number 3, continuing this really fun mini-series. And this one, Little Spawn learns that his greatest enemy isn't a hell spawn at all. And I wonder, is it going to be Todd McFarlane?
Nice, yeah.
I think that could be really fun. But we've got our A cover here, and then this really awesome Rob Gilroy cover, which I haven't seen Rob Gilroy stuff in a little while. But, classic Chew artist there. And it looks like even maybe Pollo, the fighting chicken from Chew, is on the cover. Next up, we got cool covers. Starting with
Absolute Power Task Force 7, number 7. This is the last issue of this tie-in series to Absolute Power. And this features the Amazo robot known as Global Guardian, which I'm guessing it's the Martian Manhunter one. The heroes of Earth have been defeated, but what about the heroes not of this Earth? And there is a glimmer of hope as a new generation of fighters from every corner of the world have joined forces to rise up against Amanda Waller, and you can see some of them on the cover there. So yeah, I've been enjoying this series quite a bit too. It's cool to see different Amazo robots and different characters and what they're doing.
Also, Buana Beast is on the cover.
When's the last time we've seen him at all?
He has the power to combine any two animals.
I can only imagine.
Also, I'm wondering, Global Guardian, is that the opposite of Martian Manhunter?
I guess so.
Kind of.
Yeah, why not?
Why not?
So that's our A cover. There is a Raza variant. There is a Tom Rainey variant. There is a Stephen Platt variant. Oh, we've had a bunch of those. There's a John Timms connecting variant. And then there is a Dan Mora foil variant. I've been getting all these and they look great.
Okay, next up, we've got just some really cool covers for Action Comics number 1069, continuing Gail Simone's Superman Early Days story and the backup story about Lois and Clark and dealing with the Daily Planet stuff. So this is our Wes Craig cover. Then we also have a Gilliam March variant, a very puffed up chest Superman. And we also have a Jose Luis Garcia Lopez and Joe Prado Hispanic Heritage Month variant. We've got a Nicholas Scott Artist Spotlight variant with all the different Supergirls. And I want to include in here that she also has a variant for Flash number 13 with all the different Flashes. which is interesting because the previous ones were kind of the same person, and these are all
Yeah, these are all different. Yeah.
different people. And then we also have a Harley Quinn one for Harley Quinn number 43.
This is kind of a big one. Detective Comics number 1089. This is the last issue of Rom V's epic story that he's been telling for probably a couple of years now, I think. And it doesn't, obviously, with this being the last issue of this grand story, the solicitations don't tell us anything, but it just says that everything is led to this moment as the curtains close on Rom V's epic gothic opera. So we know that Detective Comics number 1090 is going to be part of DC's All In October with Tom Taylor and Michael Janin. So this is the end of a really big epic run of Detective Comics. So this is our A cover. No, this is our B cover by Gilliam March, and then there is a Jose Luis Garcia Lopez Hispanic Heritage Month featuring Renee Montoya.
Which we're getting a sounds like a really cool Renee Montoya question miniseries coming up very soon.
Mm-hmm.
Next up, we've got Zatanna Bring Down the House at number 4. And not a whole lot of information about this one, but it does say Enter Constantine, one of Zatanna's old flames. So some really cool coverage for this. This is the B cover by Joel Jones. We've got a Joshua Sway variant. And a Nicholas Scott artist spotlight variant with all the different Zatannas.
This is Deadpool number 7. And we haven't got number 6 yet, but supposedly, I think in that one, Deadpool supposedly dies, and his daughter takes over as Deadpool. And in this one, Taskmaster continues training her. Her name's Ellie. But what she really wants is vengeance, I'm assuming, from the person who killed her father. So number 6 is going to be telling because at the end of number 5, he seemed okay. Like he was all like hacked to pieces, but he was alive, and he's like, yeah, I'll be fine. So I don't know what's going to happen in number 6 that causes us to get here, but it should be a fun ride to see. So that's our A cover. We have an Amanda Connor Doom variant. We're going to have a few more of these in a minute. There's a Mark Bagley variant. There is a Peach Momoko variant, and then a Scott Koblish variant.
I like that she has a Taskmaster jacket, too. That's just a cool touch. Yeah. Okay, next up we've got Spider-Gwen Ghost Spider number 6. And this one sounds really cool because, her being in the 616 universe, but she has to keep secrets has really driven a wedge between her and the other spiders, Miles and Peter. But she may find a new friend in Jessica Jones.
Nice.
Which I always love seeing Jessica Jones pop up wherever. And this seems like a really cool story for that. So we've got a great Mark Brooks A cover. And we have a Gleb Milkanov Doom variant.
This is Immortal Thor number 16. This is the Andre Bresson Doom variant. And when I saw this, I accidentally clicked on this thinking it was the A cover. I'm like, oh, sweet, we're getting a Thor versus Doom story. But no, this is just the variant. But this says that arisen evil now seeks out new gods to challenge the old gods, and they find them in Thor's earliest foes. And the solicitations for this always say write it as it's a story. It says this is the story of Thor and the Radioactive Man, which we haven't seen in a while, and he is on the A cover, so that should be really cool. But yeah, this is a really cool Doom cover.
Next up, we got Ultimate Black Panther issue number 9, and this is, man, I don't like to pat myself on the back, but I called this a long time ago that we are getting some sort of Ultimate Doctor Strange, because this says the Ultimate Sorcerer Supreme, but the source of the magic is not what it appears due to the Maker reshaping the world. So it sounds like maybe, there's going to be magic, but it's going to work a different way. So I'm very excited about this because I think this is a really cool idea of kind of Black Panther and whatever this universe's version of Doctor Strange or the Sorcerer Supreme is going to be.
Because the solicitation for number 8, I think, mentioned the Strange Doctor, but it was capitalized, like it was a name. So there's something there. We just don't know what yet.
I imagine, though, there's still going to be a twist to all of this. But this is our A cover, and we also have a Arita variant as well.
We have X-Men number 5. I've been loving this one. In this one, the X-Men are fighting the upstarts, and I think this may be continuing the story from number 4, I believe. But while they're doing that, Kid, Omega, and Psylocke dive deep into the mind of a troubled mutant. So we've also seen that that may be the mutant from number 2.
Yeah.
We'll have to wait and see. But this has been a great series so far. So this is our Alessandro Capuccio Doom variant, and then there is a J. Scott Campbell Jean Grey variant. These have all been awesome.
I think this is the final of the J. Scott Campbell covers too. I think he said that this was the Jean was the last one.
That's a good one to go out on.
Yeah. Next up, I just want to show this real quick. There is a new installment. So it's not really a number 1. It's because these Assassin's Creed Visionaries have been going on where different creators take on, they create their own Assassin's Creed character. But I wanted to show this one for Assassin's Creed Visionaries Powder Decima number 1. This one is, it doesn't say the artist is the homage cover, but I always love to show homage cover, especially to this classic Wolverine Frank Miller cover. Next up, we got graphic novels and more, and there's some big ones in this one.
Oh, yeah, I'm really excited about this. So, this is the Amazing Spider-Man Omnibus Volume 6, which is just cool because they've just been, the first 5 have just gone all the way through Amazing Spider-Man, and this is going to collect more of that. This is going to collect Amazing Spider-Man 181 through 205, and a couple of annuals and a few issues of What If as well, and this is going to be $100. So yeah, just more Amazing Spider-Man. I hope they just keep going.
Weren't you saying that they did these for a while, and then it's been a while since we've got one of the Amazing Spider-Man?
It does seem like it's been a while since Volume 5 came out.
Yeah.
So I was just happy to hear that they're still going because this is not Bronze Age Spider-Man, some of my favorite. So this is our standard edition cover. There is also a direct market variant, which is the cover of the annual number 13. That's the one I'm definitely gonna get. Oh, and then I forgot this was mine too.
This is your ride in the omnibus.
Yeah. So this is the Ultimate Fantastic Four Omnibus Volume 1.
Have they not done this before?
I don't think
it doesn't
so.
say reprinting, resolicit, anything.
Yeah,
so
I think
surprised me.
I think this is the first time they've collected Ultimate Fantastic Four in an omnibus. There have been trades, but this is going to be $100 and collects Ultimate Fantastic Four 1 through 32 and annual number 1. And that's pretty much, I mean, just straightforward is what you get.
Yeah, and how long did the series go?
I want to say it ran at least 60 or 70 issues, or
so
maybe longer.
Maybe we'll get 2 of
I think
these?
we'll get at least 2 of these. I just don't remember what the issue count on that was. So this is our standard edition cover, and then there is a Stuart Eminem direct market cover, which is really cool. And then we have one more. This is the Superman, The Exile, and Other Stories Omnibus. And this is really cool too. This is going to be $125, and this collects a lot of the late 80s Superman stuff from guys like George Perez, Jerry Ordway, Roger Stern, and more. And this is collecting, like I said, the late 80s Superman books that sort of start to lead into Death of Superman, which has had an omnibus as well. And, you know, we're getting the Superman, the Triangle Era omnibus, which is going to be a lot of the books before this one. And that omnibus butts up against the hardcovers that started collecting a lot of the John Byrne stuff post Crisis. So all of that stuff strung together is going to give us a nice big chunk of post Crisis Superman all the way to the end of Death of Superman. So this is just another piece of that puzzle. But this is the only cover for this one.
Next up, we're getting some more of our DC's finest. This is DC's finest, and this one, I want to say, maybe is the most modern one they've done so far.
So, well, there's only been the other 2.
Yeah,
this is the third one.
Like most of them seem to be around earlier stories and Silver Age. This one is actually DC's finest Wonder Woman Origins and Omens, and this is by Gail Simone, Mark Waid, and Mark Andreyko. But this is going to collect, basically it says read Gail Simone's iconic run from the beginning, so I wonder if they're going to continue this to collect her whole time frame doing this. But you've got great cover artists, Terry Dodson. You've got, I think, Adam Hughes, some covers in there. Just fantastic stuff. So if you're looking for some good, more modern, classic Wonder Woman, you will do fine by this one. And this is going to be $39.99. But I'm very excited about the new DC's Finest collections. So we're going to be getting a lot of stuff that has either not been printed in a long time or ever.
And if you don't know, the DC Finest line of books, it's a brand new line of books, and it's DC's version of the Marvel Epic Collections, basically. Some really cool stuff coming out. And this is the G.I. Joe, A Real American Hero Compendium, Volume 1. And, you know, they had the Kickstarter where there was 4 of these, so I guess those were hardcovers. And I feel pretty confident that they'll release all of all four, and this is going to be a soft cover, a paperback. But this collects G.I. Joe, A Real American Hero, like the original Marvel books, issues 1 through 50. So, it's gonna. I don't know if it's gonna lead all the way up through 300 when they're all done, but we're getting some early GI Joe Marvel right here, and this one is gonna be $64.99. So this is the standard edition cover by Andy Kubert and Brad Anderson, but then there's a direct market cover by Herb Trimp. That's the original GI Joe from Marvel from back in 1982, I believe.
Yep. Next up, we've got Gwen Stacy Beyond Amazing, a trade paperback. This is cool, and this is a series I love. You had some Adam Hughes covers, and this is by Christos Gage and Sean Ryan, with interiors by Todd Knott. So this was supposed to be a mini series. Issues 1 and 2 came out in 2020, and then everything stopped, and we went. This was like on people's list of books that started and have never resumed. But then back in 2022, they put out Giant Size Gwen Stacy, which finished off the storyline, and now it's all collected here for $13.99, because it's about 3 issues, but the last one is a kind of a double size issue, so maybe about a 4-issue thing. Plus, it talks about it's got all the variants and everything, because the series had a lot of really great variants. But all of that, and this is a story of Gwen Stacy, but Spider-Man. This is her in high school, and something has happened with her father, and she kind of becomes like a teen sleuth in the school. It's really, really fun. But yep, for $13.99.
All right, well, I'm really excited about this one too. This is the Birthright Deluxe Edition hardcover, Volume 1, and I believe there's going to be 2 of these. So this is really cool. Joshua Williamson is the writer. Andre Bresson is the artist on this. This is going to be $59.99 and collects the first half of the series, which is issues 1 through 25. And if you don't know what Birthright is, it came out several years ago.
Yep.
And think about like the classic 80s movies where a kid gets sucked into a fantasy world and goes on a grand adventure, and then he comes home at the end, and the day is saved and all that. Well, in this one, young Mikey Rhodes, he's a young kid. He gets sucked into a fantasy land, just like the magical movies from the 80s. Although he comes back an adult, like grizzled warrior.
Yeah.
And he lived a whole life in that fantasy world. And what did he go through? And the story, at least for the first little while, sort of alternates back and forth between what did he go through in that fantasy world and what is it like for him now. His parents have to come to terms with the fact that
they end up like kind of going at each other, being like, this is your fault, he's missing. It's like, take that like classic fun concept and be like, what if this really happened?
Right.
And the kind of like, it destroys his family.
Right.
The father has to they basically put the blame on him. He has to prove his innocence and eventually work with his son and believe the stories. It's really, really good. This team just recently did Dark Ride that I just finished up, which was fantastic. Yeah. But this team is great.
Yeah. So, and I believe this is the first time it's ever been collected like this. There have been trades, obviously, but it's never been in a big, thick hardcover before like this. So I'm super excited. And it's going to be $59.99.
And that is it for Comics from the Future. Thank you so much for watching. There was a ton of great stuff on this show, so head on over to infinityflux.net right now where you can pre-order these. Plus, there's even more stuff we didn't go over because we would be here all night if we went over every single thing. So go over there, browse for yourself, and find something good. Everything you pre-order, you get 10% off of, and that's just an added little bonus for you. A reminder about our video. Instead of Monday, it's going to be Tuesday because of the holiday. But you're still going to get all the information a day before the books come out. So you can still make your plans about what you want to pick up then. And next week on Wednesday, is going to be our 3rd episode of our Infinity Flux Letters page. We've already been pulling together a ton of your comments and questions, getting ready for that. And just like always, you can leave your comments and questions in this video or any of the other videos. We will scour, find them, and answer your questions on the Wednesday show
and it's done live, so we will talk with you back and forth live while we're doing it.
Absolutely. So much good stuff coming up, and until then, see ya.